Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. In today's episode, I wanted to talk on this ongoing trend where people are quick to, I guess, criticize whatever it is that you're doing, you know? So let's say you're a musician. It'd be people that are not musicians that want to take the time to criticize your way of making music. And what trips me out is that you would think that these guys, like, oh, okay, they must be a music producer, they must be an artist themselves, like they have a family that's involved with music. No, they just have an uncle that somehow some way owns a guitar. We ain't seen him go to Guitar Center and buy this guitar. He just for some reason got a guitar in his garage, and they think they know everything that they need to know about music. And that's the thing, when it comes down to, I guess, criticizing somebody about whatever it is that you so happen to be involved in, rather than attacking them on whatever it is, why not help them? You know, but that's the thing. People misunderstand that. They don't understand how to help a person. They think it's a lot easier to just sit around and insult people. And I'm like, okay, if you wonder why nobody takes in your criticism or your advice or whatever it is that you want to call it, that's why. The way that my thing is, all right, so I feel like that I need to give out an example of how to criticize people, how to give out advice, because there are some adults, full-blown adults, that don't know how to criticize and give out advice and help people. But so let's say somebody approaches me, which I have had happen to me before, where they approach me on content creating. Okay, cool. What do you want to get into? They say they want to get into gaming. All right, cool. What kind of games do you want to play? They say they want to play racing. I'm like, all right, so I guess I kind of treat it like an AI generated answer. I'm like, all right, these are the games that you can play. These are the platforms that they're available on. I guess if you're wanting to play both, let's say you want to play both Gran Turismo and Forza Horizon 5, then it might be best for you to get a PlayStation 5 because it's available on both versus getting an Xbox and you're only able to play one. But if you want to play like the best racing simulation and the best racing simcade game, then yeah, get you a PlayStation 5, get you a computer that's capable of streaming, or actually, you know what? No, I think you can stream. Yeah, you can stream directly off of your PlayStation. Make sure you have some good internet. Be it have some energy in your streams. What else? Yeah, and then post your clips, market it yourself and all that stuff. And then let's say they do that, but they do pretty much everything in the opposite. They don't know how to drive. They don't have a whole lot of energy in their stream. And then I'm trying to think. They're not being unique. They're not being different. They're trying to, be like other people. So rather than attacking them and be like, oh, your first stream sucked. Oh, this stream was horrible. Okay. This is where, and I guess if they come back to me and they're all like, hey, where did I go wrong? Like, what's going on? I watched that whole stream and I'm seeing all these different errors and problems and all these different things. I'm like, all right, so one thing that I did pick up is that your microphone is too low. Might want to turn that up a little bit. And then you not knowing how to drive, there's a lot of people that play them video games and don't know how to drive in them. It's going to take some time. So it probably might be best to practice off stream. And then when you do start up a stream, so yeah, you could do like, I guess like if you're wanting to save the career races for when you stream and then wanting to look, yeah, there are some like ways for you to practice. I guess if you're playing with a steering wheel, then yeah, they have like the time attacks on Gran Turismo. I'm trying to think. I don't think they have like no practice modes in Forza, but no, yeah, but that's definitely one thing. I guess like if you are playing with a steering wheel controller, then yeah, there is the practice mode on Gran Turismo where like the one where I think it's like you could get your license, but I think they also have like the time attack ones and stuff, so you could just kind of test out tracks and kind of get a feel, but it's going to be different than Forza Horizon. So I guess like whether you want to play with a controller, because I would personally recommend to play on a controller with Forza and then play with a steering wheel controller on Gran Turismo, because it's just a little bit easier to manage the cars with a steering wheel, and then it's a little bit with Gran Turismo, then it's a lot easier to manage a controller with Forza Horizon. They might change it for Forza Horizon 6, but do you see how I'm giving out advice? Do you see how I'm criticizing? I'm not letting them know or trying to put them further down into their mind of them thinking along the lines they're not a good content creator. I'm like, no, you wanted to sign up for this. So at the end of the day, you might not be a good content creator, but you're also not a bad content creator. It's just going to take some time. It's going to get to a point where you ain't going to need my advice. And it's funny because I was just telling it was a friend of mine. He works at this. If you guys know where I be talking about that retro game store, yeah, there's a guy that works in there where I would say that me and him are friends. You know, we might not know each other's names, but we're friends. All right. So, but no, he was talking about how he was thinking about getting into content creating, and I remember us having a conversation like this before, because it was I don't think she works there no more, but there was another cashier that was kind of like, you know, we were all got to talking about it and stuff, because I believe, yeah, she does music, and then he wanted to get into content creating, and then obviously, yeah, I am a content creator, and so yeah, we got to talking about it. It's one of those things where I'm all like, look, because I guess I'm just going based off of our quote unquote friendship, even when we don't know each other's names, but I'm going based off of how when we conversate, how we're talking about stuff, we listen to each other. We don't judge on whatever it is that we're saying. We hear each other out. We carry on with the conversation. He's somebody that I would watch, whether it's a podcast, and I think he did say he did a video where he was reviewing a video game, and I'm like, I will watch that, because I'm going based off of the conversations that we had, so I know that you're going to be good at conversating when it comes down to whatever it is, whether it's music, movies, video games, I don't care what it is, but the quality can be bad, the audio can be horrible, everything can go wrong in that video, but the thing is this, you're going to improve. It ain't like you're going to still be doing the same stuff that you were, because if I was still doing the same stuff that I was doing when I very first got into content creating, I don't think I would be at 100,000 subscribers. I don't think I would have over 200 million views. I don't think I would have a whole lot of followers across other platforms. No, nobody would know who I am if I limited myself to who I was when I very first started back 16 years ago. But yes, I have been involved with content creating for 16 years. I have seen so many different ways of going about content creation, and so I feel like that when it comes down to when I guess people see me as a content creator, right now you're seeing a much more better and improved version of who I once was before. But at the end of the day, I feel like that who I wanted to be when I very first got into content creating, yes, in a way it's who I am now, but I feel like that it's kind of different. It's not exactly who I wanted to be, but I'm like, I am comfortable, and I feel like that who I am right now is a lot better than I guess what I wanted to be before when I got in, or when I was getting into content creating. So, but overall though, the times where people have tried to criticize my content, and then, yeah, I'm like, fam, that's not how you criticize a person. You don't go based off of your feelings on when you're criticizing a person. No, you gotta go based off of the general opinion on how people would view that person's content. So I guess, like, if you're one of those rude and disrespectful people, yeah, ain't nobody gonna sit around and listen to you. But if you're one of those people where you go into, because I don't know, I feel like that people would be all like, oh, well, look at that Simon guy on American Idol, look at Gordon Ramsay on Hell's Kitchen. I'm trying to think of some, or that one guy from Bar Rescue. Yeah, the thing is this, I feel like when you lie and say that you're a good content creator, and then then when people are watching your content, and then that it's things like that where I'm like, I think that's probably why people will be upset. And then to mention them three guys, Simon from American Idol, Bar Rescue guy, and Gordon Ramsay. Yeah, when you go on American Idol claiming that you can sing, and you don't waste these people's time, and you up there like singing like you done had you about 4 or 5 bottles of some whiskey, yeah, that anybody would be upset. Because I think if somebody, if they were to hype themselves up, and they're all like, oh yeah, I'm the best content creator of all time, I'm this, I'm that, oh, I'm better than everybody, I'm like, yo, I'm the greatest. And so it's like, okay, I need to actually see it to believe it. And then I see it, I'm like, fam, I ain't trying to be rude, but I'm gonna just let you know, like, this ain't the best content in the world. I've seen content from creators a lot smaller than you, and it's one of those things. I think that's when people are, not even so much like not humbling themselves, but they just got a big ego when it comes down to content creation. And it's people like that where I'm like, yeah, if you get some negative criticism, you shouldn't be surprised, but that's the thing. I remember when I had started getting this quote unquote criticism with my videos, that people were making it seem like that I was like putting myself out there as like the greatest content creator. I guess the way that they were criticizing my content. And I'm thinking to myself, at one point in time, yeah, I wasn't saying that. I wasn't saying that I was the greatest content creator of all time. You know, and I still to this day don't say that I'm the greatest content creator of all time. But I'm not going to look at my content and be all like, this is bad content. You know, that's the thing where I'm like, even the content that I recorded back when I was younger, yeah, there were some videos I was all like, oh, this is embarrassing. This isn't really content. This is when I was kind of just, you know, using YouTube as a personal space. I wasn't really using it as a space to I guess really showcase myself as a content creator. But yes, I did take those videos down. But I guess let me just look through some of my latest videos. Okay, just even some of my latest voiceover videos. I'm proud of those voiceover videos. And then just even some of my reaction videos, gaming videos. Yeah, I'm proud of all of that stuff. I have no reason to be embarrassed by that content. And I feel like that if you are embarrassed by your content, I don't feel like it's an embarrassment. I don't feel like it's one of those things where you looking at it. I just think that you're nervous, but you think that it's embarrassing to be a content creator and all that. And that's how I really look at it when they say that they're embarrassed by being a content creator or by putting content out there and stuff. And I'm like, fam, you don't have no, it's kind of like saying that, oh, so content creating is embarrassing. It's not embarrassing. It's not embarrassing to be a content creator. I remember I was nervous to tell people, and I was a little bit on the shy side to tell people that I was a content creator when I was working at my old job. But no, eventually it did get to a point where I'm all like, okay, I'm serious about this. I don't have nothing to hide. I don't have nothing to be ashamed of. So if people ask me, oh, what do you have planned this weekend? I'm not going to lie and be all like, oh, you know, just going to be hanging out. Well, they ain't really lying and things. I guess I'm not telling them the whole truth. But no, I remember it did eventually get to a point in time. I don't know. I wouldn't really say I was promoting myself, but I was being honest. I was letting people know. I wasn't going to just be all, you know, I guess like if somebody were to ask me and get, you know, deep into my personal life, oh, like, what you mean hanging out? What do you have? So, you know, overall, though, I wasn't doing all of that. I just flat out told them. I was all like, yeah, I'm going to do some content creating stuff. I'm a YouTuber. So, yeah, I'm going to be recording some videos and things. And, no, and them customers was curious. And even coworkers. And, you know, that was the crazy thing about it, too. Like having it where there would be like a group of like customers that they'll come, because like, so where I had worked at, it was inside of a building, so the cafe, like customers would just come like from each floor of the building and they just come down. But there have been times, I remember there was one time, and I feel like there was this one customer, like I don't know, she kind of acted weird towards me. I feel like she was like kind of low-key hating and stuff. But no, so like all the customers, or not all of them, but like it was a group of customers that were they were talking about that, how they were watching my videos and stuff, and how they were just all shocked that I had did YouTube videos. And then there was the one, she kind of like made a comment and stuff. I can't really remember like what she said word for word, but it was like, seemed like she was kind of like trying to like downplay me being a content creator and stuff. And I'm like, fam, I'm not even hearing that. I ain't hearing nothing that you have to say. You always come in here and kind of give me like some weird attitude and stuff, like I did something to you. I don't know if I remind you of an ex or what, but I'm like, fam, I ain't hearing that. I'm gonna listen to the customers that are actually liking my content and stuff. So, but yeah, and that's the thing where I'm like, people, they like to do that a lot. They like to overall try to downplay or wrongfully criticize or give you some negative advice. And that's the one thing that I always say to people like that. Okay, if what I'm doing is not right, then show me what I need to do. And it's funny because I remember when people were trying to get on me about doing reaction videos, they was all like, and that's how I knew that they wasn't watching the videos, because they would say some stuff like, all you do is sit there in silence. Fam, did you see my reaction video? I reacted to a 30-second trailer and I turned it into a 5-minute video. I'm like, are you actually watching my videos, or are you just copying and pasting what you've seen from somebody else and you're just commenting that across all videos? But my thing is this, when they were sitting around criticizing, and that's why I feel like why the criticism surrounding my content, why it stopped, because I'm like, okay, for one, you guys aren't watching my videos, but you're also not trying to show me how to do better videos. So my reaction videos, if they're not good, I'm talking too much, I'm not talking enough, I'm not reacting to good videos, or the videos that I'm reacting to, I'm just using them for clout views and subs and all this other stuff. So I'm like, okay, my thing is this, you know everything that needs to be known about making content, right? You know everything about content creating. You can write a whole book about content creating. That's what I'm assuming. That's what I'm assuming when you're spamming whatever it is that you're trying to say in my comment sections. But overall though, you know about content creating. So I'm going to hold that against you. Explain to me how to do better videos. Not based off of what you heard from somebody else, but from you. Because I'm assuming that this is your information. This is the key on how to be a successful content creator. And it's funny because it'll be coming from accounts with no videos, no subscribers, no views, no nothing. Nothing to their name. All right, just, yeah, that's all that there is. It's just a name. But, and that's the thing, I'll tell people, I'm like, okay, like, explain to me, how do I do a better reaction video then? Or showcase it to me how to do a better reaction video. And then, or a gaming video, music, whatever it was mainly reaction videos I was being criticized on. So, but, no, overall though, they'll comment back and they'll be all like, oh, I'm not a content creator. Then how are you going to tell me how to be a content creator and you're not a content creator? My thing is this, and you know what's so funny? Because I guess like using wrestling as an example, because you'll see that at times. You'll see where fans, they'll get to talking about wrestlers like, oh, they're not wrestling. No, because I think it was Seth Rollins. I remember there was this moment in wrestling where Seth Rollins, so they were doing, I can't remember who it was that he was wrestling up against, but anyways, they were doing like I think it was like a no disqualification type match and stuff. But anyways, so they angled the camera to make it seem like that Seth Rollins fell directly on some cement. And then, yeah, because they show where he falls off of this, like, high part of this, like, some piece of the, not arena, but it was, like, just some, like, prop that they had, set up for him to fall off of. But, so they made it, when watching it on the pay-per-view, they make it seem like that he just fell directly on some cement. And that's one thing about Seth Rollins, and that's one thing that I appreciate so much about wrestlers, is how good they are at acting. Like, and that's the funny thing is, because I think I did just see a post where it was some dude, he was talking about, like, people watching wrestling at a older age and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, so don't you go to the movies? Don't you watch TV shows? I'm like, don't you talk? And the thing is this, because I feel like people that criticize wrestling because they were like, oh, wrestling is fake, it's this and that, blah, blah, blah. And the funny thing is that when you watch like basketball, football, soccer, UFC, boxing, you see a lot of the times, like, where it be the boxers or the basketball players or the football players, the soccer players, the baseball players, any and everybody in any form of sport, where they portray it like they hate them, their opponents that they going up against. Then you see when they be in their retirement, like, I guess, stage of their career, and then that's when they be all on podcasts, TV shows, sit next to each other, and they were like, oh yeah, we had a strong rivalry and stuff. Like, oh yeah, I remember when you did this move in this game, or you did this, and it was like, they be sitting around laughing, but it's like the way that they be portraying it. For an example, Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal. Do you honestly think that these guys genuinely hated each other when they were playing basketball, when they were actively playing against each other when they were in the NBA? Because my thing is this, if they hated each other that much, they wouldn't have no talk show cracking jokes with one another, like literally calling each other best friends. So that's why I'm like, and yeah, the thing is this, with wrestling, you'll see it at times, like, where wrestlers, like, they might actually genuinely hate each other. They might not get along with each other like that. And then you see where they'll get to talking about it in, like, interviews or documentaries and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, fam, stuff really be happening in wrestling. Like, there's at times where wrestlers really be getting injured and be getting paralyzed, and stuff be happening with them, and their careers get cut short. So when people be saying that, oh, wrestling is fake, it is this, is that, and all this other stuff. Yeah, when they have those moments where it's like, so getting back to the Seth Rollins spot. So anyways, Seth Rollins gets thrown off of this part of the stage, I think it was, or like the kind of like the crowd area. But they made it seem like that he fell on this on some concrete. But when they showed it at a different angle, he fell on this mattress and then he rolled onto the concrete. And so people were sharing that video, and they were all like, oh, this is horrible. Oh, wrestling is soft now. It's this and that. I'm like, okay. So you get 30, 40 feet in the air, and then you try falling on some concrete and see what that does to your body. Oh, I'm not a wrestler. So how are you going to speak on what a wrestler is doing? You want this man to be wrestling, right? You want him to have a long career. And what's crazy is that, so I can't remember if that was before or after that WrestleMania. I think it might have been before. But anyways, he was at this, Seth Rollins, same wrestler. He was at this WrestleMania event, and I think it was the one where it was Roman Reigns and Cody Cody Rhodes. They were fighting for the championship. Seth Rollins got involved. John Cena got involved. The Rock had got involved. The Undertaker got involved. That was like one of the craziest main events of WrestleMania. But anyways, that man was injured. And it was right after that he had to take some time off. But it wasn't like on script he was injured. No, this man was actually injured. But you can tell, and that's why I had to say Seth Rollins, I feel like of my time, he is one of the greatest wrestlers, because this man had wrestled. I know people are like, wait a minute, is TMossBoss getting emotional? I'm not getting emotional, all right? So I just, mouth was a little dry. I need to drink me some water. When I be sitting down doing these podcast episodes, saying 100 words per minute, the mouth gets a little dry, all right? But yeah, I'm getting emotional talking about Seth Rollins, a man I ain't never met before. I love wrestling. I just don't love it that much. But anyways, so, no, Seth Rollins, though. This man was injured at this WrestleMania, and you can tell that, and that's why I say he's one of the greatest wrestlers of our time. You can tell how much he loves wrestling, where he's like, I don't care how injured I am. I don't care what I have going on with me. I am going to give these guys a show. And I would imagine that they went over it. They was like, okay, so this is what's going to happen. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, they going to get to fighting with one another. Then The Rock's going to come out. And then that's when you guys come out. And then The Undertaker is going to surprise everybody. The crowd's going to love it. Seth Rollins probably hearing all of this stuff. And that's the thing, though, with wrestlers, is that just like me, they were a wrestling fan. They were at home watching it on TV, watching the pay-per-views, either going over to a friend's or family member's house and they watching it over there. But he was one of those people where he's probably sitting down thinking, man, being that fan front row and you're seeing all these different things happening and stuff. Oh yeah, I know this show's gonna be good. And that's why he did not care how injured he was. And I had to say, like, he was definitely of those that 2-day event, because I think it was him and Cody Rhodes. I think that was like the night one where it was him and Cody Rhodes going up against The Rock. And it was Seth Rollins. So in a way, he wrestled 3 times over the weekend. So he wrestled twice. So he wrestled on night 1 and then he wrestled twice in night 2. So he had the match where I think, he went up against Drew McIntyre. And then he ended up losing the championship. And then later on that night, so yeah, he had the main event of night 1. And then he was he was the opening, he opened up WrestleMania and then closed out WrestleMania with Seth Rollins. He closed it out with Cody Rhodes, all right? But anyways, it's like, you can't sit here and tell me like, oh, Seth Rollins is a bad wrestler because he didn't want to fall on no concrete. But I'm like, fam, there's been times where I have been walking and fell on some concrete and that mess hurt. So you want me 30-something feet up in the air to slam on some concrete for the love of the game? No. I'm like, I don't love it that much to where it's like, then it's like you look up one day and they're all like, hey, you think you can wrestle this weekend? And I'm like, nah, man. I'm like, all these, bodily injuries I have, I'm like, I can't do it. Now I'm retired. So that's why I'm like, no, versus, okay, fall on this mattress and now I done saved myself, I pretty much like 20 more years of being a wrestler and stuff. I don't think he'll be wrestling for no 20 years. Well, Seth Rollins, I feel like he could wrestle because he's probably in his 40s now. So hold on for a second. How old is Seth Rollins? Seth Rollins he's 39 years old? I don't know. I thought he was like 40 something. Oh, he'll be turning 40 this year. Dang. I don't know why I thought he was. Huh. Wow. All right. I mean, I guess, man. I don't know. I don't be paying attention to people's ages like that and stuff. But as Seth Rollins, if you ever do hear this podcast episode, I do apologize. I thought you was older, but you actually are younger. My fault. I didn't know. I'm not. I don't be paying attention. So dang, he's been in the game for a minute now. Dang, that's crazy. But anyways, overall though, it's like people like in wrestling, and they do that all the time, where they be wanting to criticize these wrestlers on when they mess up on a move, or if they don't do the move correctly, or if they don't want to do no crazy stuff. Because like, I guess like with me, if I was a wrestler, there probably would be some things that I wouldn't want to do. Like there's like some stunts that Shane McMahon, like I think there was the one stunt where he climbed all the way up on this like top part of the stage, right? Now yes, they did have like the bottom part cushioned out, but I got a little bit of a height problem, like I not so much like I'm short. I mean, I am short, I am under 6 feet tall, but I mean seem like I got like I wouldn't say it's like a fear of heights, but I feel like if my body is not protected, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy because it's like I can ride a plane, but then there's this particular stunt that Shane McMahon did where it was another wrestler. I can't think of the name of that wrestler, but he hit Shane McMahon in the back with a kendo stick, and then Shane McMahon, he felt some distance, but from jumping off the top of the Hell in a Cell cage, yeah, there's certain stunts that I wouldn't do if I was a wrestler, and I know that might not be a good look, and I know there'll probably be some wrestling fans who are like, oh, TMossBoss, he ain't a good wrestler, he ain't trying to, you know, jump off of great heights, like, oh, you gotta just fight through the fear and stuff. You know, it'll be some heights that I wouldn't mind falling off of, but it's some great heights where I'm like, nah, bro, I'm like, look, don't get me wrong, I love the game, but at the same time, I don't love it that much, you know, to where it's like I'm willing, because you see where there's wrestlers that have wrestled their whole careers and they ain't did no stuff like that, you know. So anyways, yeah, that's what I'm all like, man, come on now. Like, people be so quick to criticize. I'm like, okay, so then you go out and do it. Oh, I ain't no wrestler. Well, become a wrestler. Go through all the different, you know, things that you got to go through to become a professional wrestler, and you do some crazy stunts. But if not, then let's get back down to content creating. You know, let's climb down and get back down to content creating. If you're going to criticize me on whatever it is that I'm doing with content creating, before you click that comment or message, send a message, whatever, you go out and you do some reaction videos, or you do some gaming videos, or you make some music. Actually do something to showcase, because all I look at is false hope. You know, you're trying to, I guess, like, put out some message making it seem like that, oh, they gonna listen to me. And it's like, fam, if you ain't got nothing to show for it, how am I supposed to believe you on whatever it is that you're talking about? So that's why I'm like, yeah, I don't even be hearing people when they be trying to criticize my content. I'm like, if you ain't doing it, then fam, get up out my comment sections, all right? So, but anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow or subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service, and peace.